Welcome to Rise and Grow Audio. Today's topic is about the millionaire habits of Canadian entrepreneurs. Please drop a like and subscribe for more audiobooks. Let's jump straight into the introduction. I think it's safe to say that majority of Canadians will agree with me when I say that something is wrong in Canada right now. The cost of living is out of control. Grocery bills are higher, gas is a luxury, and even people working full-time jobs are struggling to stay afloat. The dream of owning a home? For many, it's nothing more than a fantasy. Rent is sky high, mortgage rates are brutal, and salaries haven't moved fast enough to keep up. Young Canadians are more educated than ever before, and yet more disillusioned than any generation before them. The job market is oversaturated, degrees don't guarantee stability, and climbing the corporate ladder feels like sprinting on a treadmill that leads nowhere. We were promised that if we followed the rules, we'd be rewarded. Go to school, get a job, save for retirement. But now people are waking up. They're realizing the old game doesn't work anymore. And while most are quietly frustrated, a few have found another way. They're the entrepreneurs you don't hear about on the news. Not the loud influencers with get-rich-quick schemes, but the everyday Canadians building real wealth in silence. They're using tax loopholes, automating income, building businesses, and investing wisely, all while the rest of the country is stuck in survival mode. This audiobook is about them, and it's for you. Inside, we're going to break down the exact habits that separate these millionaires from the average Canadian. In Chapter 1, we'll look at why the traditional Canadian dream is failing and how it's keeping people stuck. In Chapter 2, we'll talk about the trap of comfort, how stability can be the most dangerous illusion of all. In Chapter 3, we'll break down how Canadian entrepreneurs are building businesses in one of the most regulated economies in the world, and why that's actually an advantage when you know how to play the game. In Chapter 4, we'll uncover tax strategies and wealth-building tools hiding in plain sight. And in Chapter 5, we'll show you how to shift from just surviving to thriving. This isn't just information, it's transformation. Because in today's Canada, financial freedom isn't found in a safe job. It's found in strategy, in self-education, and in choosing to live differently. Chapter 1. Why the Canadian Dream is Broken. For decades, the Canadian dream was simple. Get a degree, land a good job, buy a house, save some money, retire at 65. But today, that dream is broken, and millions of Canadians are still chasing it, not realizing it's no longer real. Let's look at the facts. In the 1990s, the average Canadian home cost around 4 times the average salary. Today, it's over 10 times. And in cities like Vancouver or Toronto, it's completely out of reach for the average family. Even if you save, you're falling behind. Housing isn't just expensive, it's exclusive. And then there's the job market. Once stable, now unstable. Layoffs are more common. Gig work is replacing full-time positions. Wages have stagnated, while inflation eats away at every paycheck. Canadians are working harder than ever, but feel poorer every year. Ask around, and you'll hear the same story. I did everything right, but I still can't get ahead. That's because the system isn't designed for wealth. It's designed for compliance. School trains us to be employees, not owners. We're taught how to follow rules, not create opportunities. And worst of all, we've been conditioned to believe that playing it safe is the smartest move. But here's the truth. Safety doesn't lead to freedom. It leads to stagnation. Think about it. You get a job. You work 40 hours a week. You pay 30 to 40% in taxes. You try to save what's left. Maybe you invest in an RRSP or a mutual fund that grows slowly, if at all. You retire at 65 and hope you don't outlive your money. That's not freedom, that's survival. Meanwhile, those who broke away from this model, the entrepreneurs, investors, and creators, are building wealth faster than ever. They don't trade time for money. They build systems. They understand taxes. They play offense, not defense. They realize something early on. The Canadian dream was never designed to create millionaires. It was designed to keep the economy running. And if you want to break out of that cycle, you need more than a new job or a better degree. You need a new mindset. This chapter isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Because once you see the system for what it is, you can finally start building your own. And in the next chapter, we're going to talk about the most dangerous part of all, the silent trap of comfort. Because most Canadians aren't failing because they're lazy, they're failing because they're comfortable. Chapter 2, the silent trap of comfort. As previously mentioned in the last chapter, most Canadians aren't struggling because they're lazy. They're struggling because they're comfortable. And that comfort, quiet, predictable, seemingly harmless, is the very thing keeping them stuck. You've probably felt it. You're not happy with where you are financially, but things aren't bad enough to force change. You're not thriving, but you're surviving. You've got a roof over your head, bills are paid, a little left over for takeout or a weekend trip. And so you stay still. This is the silent trap of comfort, and it's the reason most people never build wealth. Because when life is okay, the urgency to escape disappears. You don't question the job that's draining you. You don't challenge the beliefs that limit you. You don't take the risks that could set you free. Comfort keeps you tame. It whispers, don't rock the boat. Be grateful. Things could be worse. And while you're busy being grateful for scraps, someone else is building the system that profits off your inaction. The truth is, comfort is the new danger. It lulls people into average lives. It convinces smart, capable individuals to settle for less than their worth. And in Canada, where healthcare is free and basic needs are met, the trap is even deeper. The safety net becomes a cage. But here's what successful Canadian entrepreneurs understand. They know that freedom is on the other side of discomfort. They lean into uncertainty. They use the system, not just to survive, but to build something of their own. They choose growth over safety, risk over regret. And here's the twist. It's never been easier to start than it is right now. With a laptop and an internet connection, you can launch a business, sell your knowledge, build a brand, create passive income. No permission required, no gatekeepers. But you'll never start if you're too comfortable with average. So ask yourself, are you truly satisfied or just scared to leave your comfort zone? Because the moment you step outside of it, the game changes. In the next chapter, we'll break down exactly how Canadian entrepreneurs are building businesses in a land built on safety and regulation, and why that stable system can actually be your biggest advantage if you know how to use it. Chapter 3. Creating a business in the land of stability. Canada is one of the most stable countries in the world. Healthcare, clean infrastructure, low corruption, a strong banking system. It's safe, reliable, and predictable. But that stability is a double-edged sword. It creates comfort. And comfort, as we've already seen, keeps people from taking risks. But for those who do take the leap, the ones who choose entrepreneurship, Canada becomes a powerful launchpad, not a prison. Let's be clear, starting a business in Canada isn't always easy. There are regulations, taxes, and red tape. But what most people miss is this. The system rewards those who learn how to navigate it. You don't need to be a genius, you just need to stop thinking like an employee. While most Canadians fear paperwork, successful entrepreneurs study it. They learn how to register a corporation, they understand HST, write-offs, and deductions. They know that the system isn't rigged against them. It's just designed for those who learn the rules. Want to sell products? Start an online store and register it under a Canadian business number. Want to offer coaching or services? Build a brand and write off your laptop, internet, and part of your home office. Even side hustles can be structured to reduce taxes and build long-term assets. Canada has grants, government-funded programs, startup incubators, resources most people never even hear about because they're too busy doing what they've always done, working for someone else. And here's the truth that never gets taught in school. When you own a business, the rules change. You control your income. You decide your hours. You get taxed on profit, not just your time. You can scale your efforts through systems, automation, or teams. Your ceiling is no longer set by your boss. It's set by your mindset. Of course, entrepreneurship comes with risk. It's uncertain. Some months are lean. Some ideas flop. But here's what wealthy Canadians know. The risk of staying stuck is far greater. Because job security is an illusion. Comfort fades. And inflation doesn't wait for you to figure things out. If you want to thrive in Canada, not just survive, you need to shift from being a consumer of the system to a creator within it. And it starts with building something of your own. In the next chapter, we'll talk about one of the biggest advantages business owners have, the Canadian tax system. It's not just about paying less, it's about using the rules the wealthy already understand to grow faster, smarter, and with more control. Chapter 4, Tax Loopholes and Wealth in Canada. Let's talk about something most Canadians avoid like the plague, taxes. We're taught to fear them, to complain about them, to quietly accept them. But the truth is, the tax system in Canada isn't just a tool for the government, it's a tool for the wealthy. And if you want to build wealth in this country, you have to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Because here's the reality. The tax system rewards entrepreneurs. While salaried workers are taxed before they ever see their paycheck, business owners pay taxes after expenses, meaning they can legally reduce their taxable income through smart planning. Let's break it down. As an employee, your income is fixed. Your taxes are withheld at the source. You don't get many deductions. But if you run a business, even a small side hustle, you can deduct legitimate expenses like your laptop, internet, phone bill, travel costs, home office, advertising, and even meals. And that's just the beginning. If you incorporate your business, you open the door to even more tools. You can pay yourself through dividends or salary. You can split income with a spouse or family member. You can defer taxes. You can even hold investments inside your corporation and grow your capital with a lower tax burden. Sound complicated? That's what most people think. But successful Canadian entrepreneurs don't avoid the complexity, they master it. Or at the very least, they hire the right accountant who does. You don't need to be a financial expert. You just need to know the system wasn't built to punish the wealthy. It was built to incentivize certain behavior, creating jobs, building companies, taking risks. That's who the tax code was designed to reward. Want another example? The Lifetime Capital Gains Exemption, LCGE, allows Canadian business owners to sell certain types of private corporations and avoid paying tax on up to $1 million in profit. That's not a loophole. That's the law. Yet most people have never even heard of it. That's the difference between surviving and thriving, between paying what you owe and paying what you don't have to. Because in Canada, the real wealth isn't in how much you make, it's in how much you keep. In the final chapter, we'll bring it all together. You've learned how the old dream is broken. You've seen how comfort holds you back. You now understand the power of building your own business and how the system rewards those who play smart. Now it's time to shift from learning to doing. Chapter 5. From surviving to thriving, your next move. You've seen the truth. The Canadian dream as we knew it is broken. The path we were promised, school, job, pension, isn't leading to freedom. It's leading to quiet frustration. But now you know the other side. You've seen how Canadian entrepreneurs are using discomfort as fuel, building businesses in a land of safety, and turning the tax system into a growth engine. And here's the most important truth of all. You don't need permission to join them. You don't need to be rich to start. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You don't need a perfect idea, investor funding, or an MBA. You just need to move. Because thriving starts with action. Imperfect, uncomfortable, bold action. Start the side hustle you've been thinking about. Register your business. Build your online presence. Learn to sell. Learn to automate. Learn to own. Yes, it will feel uncertain, but so is staying where you are. Thriving isn't about doing what's easy. It's about doing what matters. It's waking up with energy because you're building something that's yours. It's knowing that every hour you work is creating freedom, not just paying bills. It's stacking small wins every day until momentum takes over. And don't think you need to be the next Shopify or become a millionaire overnight. Most successful Canadian entrepreneurs didn't explode. They evolved slowly, consistently, with discipline and vision. They focused on learning skills. They reinvested in themselves. They saw setbacks as part of the process, not a sign to quit. And now, they live differently. While others stress about bills, they have options. While others wait for a raise, they build income streams. While others follow the system, they've built their own. And you can too. The question is no longer if the game is rigged. You already know it is. The real question is, will you keep playing by the old rules or start building your own? Because thriving in Canada today isn't reserved for the lucky, it's available to the bold. And your next move starts now. Chapter 6. The New Canadian Dream, Build, Not Beg. For decades, the Canadian dream was built on stability. Get a steady job, pay your taxes, retire with a pension, be polite, don't complain, and above all, be grateful. But that dream doesn't exist anymore. Not in a world where full-time jobs don't cover rent, not in a country where groceries feel like a luxury, not in an economy where the price of everything rises, except your paycheck. The old Canadian dream is gone, and what's left in its place is frustration. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. This moment, this collapse of the old system, is your greatest opportunity. Because while the old dream rewarded obedience, the new one rewards ownership. Not ownership of a white picket fence, but ownership of your time, your income, your future. And that's what Canadian entrepreneurs are doing right now. Quietly building wealth while the rest of the country waits for someone else to fix things. The new Canadian dream is not about surviving, it's about building. It's not about waiting on the sidelines hoping the government will hand you a break. It's about learning how to break through. Learning how to use the very system that holds most people down to lift yourself up. Because Canada is still one of the most resource-rich, opportunity-filled, and digitally connected countries in the world. You can start a business today from your laptop. You can sell your knowledge, your skills, your voice, and reach a global audience from your bedroom. This isn't just about money, it's about freedom. It's about taking back control in a country that often convinces you to give it away. You don't need to be born into wealth. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't even need to quit your job tomorrow. What you need is a shift from waiting to creating. Because the new Canadian dream isn't handed to you, it's built. Brick by brick, dollar by dollar, risk by risk. And yes, it'll be hard, but it'll be worth it. Canada was built by pioneers, immigrants, fighters, risk takers. That spirit didn't disappear. It's just been buried under debt, distraction, and doubt. It's time to bring it back. So this Canada Day, don't just wave the flag. Live the legacy, not by begging the system to treat you better, but by building something so powerful it can't ignore you. The new Canadian dream is waiting, but only if you're bold enough to build it. Conclusion. If you've made it to the end of this audiobook, you're not average, and you already know the truth. You did everything right. You followed the rules, but still you feel stuck. You worked hard, got the degree, landed the job, and yet somehow real financial freedom always seems just out of reach. And it's not just you. Millions of Canadians are waking up to the same quiet realization. The old system isn't broken. It was never designed to create wealth. It was designed to create workers, dependents, loyal taxpayers. It was built to reward obedience, not ownership. But now, the veil is off. You've seen how school trained you to follow, not to think. You've seen how the job market trades your time for barely enough to get by. You've seen how taxes, inflation, and comfort quietly eat away your potential. And most importantly, you've seen how the wealthy, even in Canada, play an entirely different game. They use corporations, they build systems, they leverage write-offs. They don't just make more money, they keep more of it. Because they learned early what you're learning now. The system rewards those who build, not those who beg. So where does that leave you? Right here at a crossroads. You can either keep surviving in a structure that wasn't built for your success, or you can start building something of your own, even if it's small, messy, and slow at first. Because once you take that first step, whether it's launching a side hustle, learning how business works, or understanding the power of incorporation, you're no longer trapped. You're building leverage. You're reclaiming time. You're making the system work for you, not against you. No one is coming to save you, not the job, not the pension, not the government. But you can save yourself. And when you do, you don't just change your life, you change your legacy. You become the person in your family that breaks the cycle. You become the one who says, "It stops with me." So don't wait. Don't wait for things to get worse. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. The system isn't going to change, but you can. And that change, that shift, it doesn't require perfection, just a decision, just action, just a refusal to settle for average. Because you were never broken. You were just stuck in a system that benefits when you stay small. But now you know better. And when you know better, you build differently. Thanks for listening. Please check out my other audiobooks if you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.